everyone, and welcome to your C&C podcast featuring Callum McQuire and Charlie Michael. We hope that you enjoy this podcast, which is just about music, being musicians, along with some banter along the way. All our social media links will be in the description, so we do hope and we will appreciate if you follow us there. Also, if you share our podcast on your accounts on either Facebook, Instagram, whatever, we will give you a shout out in the next podcast. This podcast does involve swearing and some dark jokes. You have been warned. Also, we hope that you enjoy this podcast. And guys, remember, don't give up music.
Hello, welcome to the C&C podcast, and I'm Callum McQuire, and my co-host over here is Charlie Michael. Say hi, Charlie.
How's it going?
I like how I made that sound like a kid show then.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Charlie Michael. Hi, kids.
Made me sound like the superstar.
But yeah, as this is our first ever podcast, we just thought we would do a little introduction one. Me and Charlie would talk about mainly our music lives and stuff like that. As you could probably hear in that really fast intro of the little midget that I got under my bed, that's him that done that, so thank you to him. And yeah, hope you enjoy. So let's start off. Charlie, would you like to start off about your music life and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure, dude. I mean, how far do you want me to go? Do you want me to go from the very beginning, or like kind of just a brief kind of everything that I've kind of done?
Go far, mate. Go far.
I'll keep it. I'll go far, but I'll keep it brief, just so we're not here all night. For me, I've been playing guitar properly since I was 12 years old. I was always kind of into kind of music growing up as well. You know, I love everything from like Queen to kind of David Bowie, ELO, Michael Jackson, like, you know, just loads of kind of great artists from the 80s and 70s. And that always I always had a fascination of music from that. But what got me into guitar really was when I started, secondary school. My parents were kind of like at the time like, oh, you know, you should, you know, maybe get into something for secondary school, whether it's kind of sport or, you know, drama, fucking, you know, whatever. And they said, well, you know, why not guitar? So I genuinely went to school, had some lessons there. And I'm not even exaggerating, within the first 3 months, all I picked up was how to play a D major chord. Like, that was genuinely it. Because I was legitimately going in with like zero knowledge of theory, scales, like anything. So my fingers had never like been in those kind of positions, and that is what she said. So I had no idea really any of that kind of stuff. So I kind of basically gave up momentarily for like a couple months, and then basically through then going into like kind of independent lessons, I was able to start, you know, actually starting to learn stuff properly. And yeah, from there I was doing about, you know, getting taught for about 2 years until I finally decided to go off and just learn on my own. You know, thanks to YouTube and stuff, now we're very lucky to just find all these amazing guitar players with content and stuff and learn from that, and got better and better. I mean, specifically for me, you know, I think the cool thing about you and me, Cal, is that we have two very different kind of styles. I'm more into, for me specifically, I'm more into kind of like metal stuff, especially the stuff I play is kind of more of that kind of neoclassical kind of shreddy stuff as well. And that's just the playing that it's always kind of interested me the most. So yeah, I've always loved doing that. I've now been playing in total for about 11 years. And I've got basically a band called Woe-Betide, who are a death metal band from Brighton. We've got an EP out already, which has done surprisingly well, bearing in mind the time it's been around. So, you know, doing that at the moment. Obviously, until COVID hit, we were planning to do more stuff regarding gigs and stuff. And, you know, like a lot of us, it's gone down the drain at the moment. So, but yeah, like I said, mostly band stuff and playing guitar for 11 years. And yeah, love all kinds of music as well. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. What about you, Cal?
No. So about me, well, it's quite a tricky one, because when I was about 12, 13, I, quite ironically, I heard a song called Wonderwall by Oasis. like, I don't think it's that popular.
No,
And
not at all.
when that happened, I just really wanted just to play Wonderwall, like just on the acoustic guitar, just to bang out Wonderwall. And then when that happened, I was just like saying to a teacher who I was at school with that I want to learn guitar and stuff like that. So he taught me a few fingerings. Oh, sorry, you want my guitar life?
I knew as soon as you said it, I already knew it. So, but that was brilliant.
I think everyone did. To be honest,
Cal, we should just say for anyone listening for the first time, there's going to be quite a lot of those throughout the podcast. Just so they're aware. Not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, would be. But yeah, he taught me a few chords, and that's all I really wanted to do in like the early stages, is just like play Wonderwall and just play like a few other basic songs. Then after that, I just didn't really wanted to proceed with music anymore. Well, not like that, but I just didn't really took guitar seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like all what I know is a few chords, so I didn't know like any scales or anything.
No.
But when I was 15, I went to like his thing, what they do where I live in Weston, called the Rock Posset, and they done it in Weston College, and I just thought I would do it. It was like a music thing where we all got to like learn songs and form bands and that, and we play it that Friday. And I done that for 2 weeks, and when that happened, there was a guy there called Cliff Moore, and he, like, when I first saw him, I thought it was just like how he plays and just how fast he plays and just how he plays it all, and that for me at the time it was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
no, definitely.
how is that possible? And I've seen 2 other guitar players there as well who I'm friends with now, called Ryan and Ayrton, and I've seen them both play, and they like sort of inspired me, and I sort of got that thing of like, right, I want to pursue guitar more.
Yeah.
Just by watching them play at the Rock Posset. So that happened, and after the Rock Posset, I was like doing that genetic how to do a guitar solo on guitar on YouTube, and I remember just like watching the bloody video with Marty Schwartz.
Oh, Marty Schwartz. Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah, he's taught me so much, literally.
He has with me as well.
Like, genuinely.
Said,
yeah,
like, guys, what's that?
Marty Schwartz.
Marty Schwartz.
But like, it's serious. It's like, because I mean, that guy. Sorry to interrupt, but like, with him specifically, like, I mean, like, he does lessons on pretty much, any kind of popular song. So he gets so many views. Like, people are probably just like, oh, he's just that guitar dude with a fucking hat. But yeah, he's a really good guitar player as well.
Yeah, he is. He's great. And he was just doing stuff, and he was like doing like a minor pentatonic solo, and was like just doing it also. It was like a guitar solo 1-on-1, like sort of course.
Yeah.
So I learnt that, and when I learnt the first position of the minor pentatonic, I was like, oh yes, I can solo now. And then I was watching Eddie Van Halen, R.I.P.
Definitely.
And it was just like him doing finger tapping. I didn't know who he was before, and I've seen him play, but then I was at the Rock Port, so I seen them doing like all that tappy stuff, and that's what got me into like tapping at the time. I'm not really so big on it now, but yeah, that happened. Yeah. I joined the Rock Posset again the next day. And I improved. I knew how to solo on that, and I just remember doing all along the Watchtower and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
classic
then,
stuff.
2 later, I decided, because I had a shit time at do is to play guitar, to be honest. But yeah, when I left school, I'd done my college. I'd done college for 4 years, and now I'm at uni, and that's where I met this little prick called Charlie.
That's right. You met me. Yes. So we should probably specify that. Me and Cal actually don't really know each other much at all. We've never met in person at all. We genuinely met through joining Waterbear, which is a great university. But we are doing the online course specifically, undergraduates. So yeah, we're just kind of getting to know each other as well. So these podcasts are kind of cool because I'm learning stuff about Cal he hasn't even, fucking told me yet, which is really cool.
And the same here.
Yeah, too. So I mean, like, I guess since we've kind of talked a little bit about each other as well, we talked briefly on like kind of inspirations and kind of stuff as well. You mentioned Eddie Van Halen a bit as well. I mean, like, if you could name kind of like what's a couple of players you would say have really kind of influenced you in your time of playing guitar?
Oh, that's a very hard question. I'm going to go with Gary Moore.
Awesome choice.
This is like when I first started. I would say Gary Moore, Angus Young, and Eddie Van Halen. But now I would probably go with Josh Smith, Mike Bradley. Not only because he's my guitar teacher now, he's done the Rio legendary guitarist.
Just a little
Rick
flex.
Graham. And bit flexing. And Rick Graham as well.
Yeah, definitely amazing players. Yeah, dude. Yeah. No, I mean to be honest with you, it's always hard to do that list. I mean, I was only really bringing it up because one, it's a good topic to talk about, but also like that can change so often. For me personally, I would say rhythm, because I play kind of more in metal bands. Rhythm wise, I've been influenced by so many bands. It's kind of hard to pinpoint that. But in terms of the more soloing kind of aspect, I would have to say John Petrucci is probably number one for me, followed by Jeff Loomis and probably Yngwie, just because without him really all that kind of neoclassical stuff wouldn't be a thing. And every guitarist has pretty much, copied what he's done. It really, and made it their own. So yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to do, but I think for the last couple of years, that's been my kind of free go-to, like, favorite players.
Yeah, and it does that because I spoke to a lot of people. I could ask them like a year ago who their favorite guitar players is, and they could go blah blah blah. Then the next year they would go, oh, now it's blah 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 blah. Like,
dude, I'm not even just saying this, like, and it's not being, I won't say the name of the person. It's not even to be fair, it's not even a dig because I completely understand why they feel this way. But I do know one or two people who literally are like, oh, my favorite guitar player is this person. And then like literally a month later, they'll say, oh, this is my favorite guitar player. And like,
oh yeah,
I think it's just purely like, don't get me wrong, I get inspired by so many kind of different players, but the reason I've mentioned those three specifically is because they're typically the players I keep coming back to again and again.
Yeah.
Even if I go, so, but yeah, influences can change all the time, man. Like in terms of guitar playing, it's good, definitely a good thing to like, experiment as well and get into better players as well. I mean,
good.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, like you said, two of your favorite, players at the moment being Mike Bradley and Rick Graham. Exactly. Yeah, which is completely different. Whereas the ones I've mentioned are kind of guys who've been in like signed bands and like massive kind of rock and metal bands. Yeah. So it's crazy that dynamic's really cool.
Yeah, and it just goes to show as well. It's like, hi Mike, if you're listening to this, by the way. Hi Rick, if you're listening to this. What I like as well, because I remember like back when I was with the rock project, the teacher said you should go, oh, always listen to like the legendary people and that, like John Mayer and not John Mayer, sorry, no, not John Mayer,
he is sick,
Hendrix and stuff like that. Yeah, he is sick. Yeah, but it's just like I'm on about we're on about like the old school like
proper old school players.
Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King. Yeah, and they always say listen to them because people thought like sort of John Mayer, Mike Bloody, Rick Graham, and that they listen to like the old time heroes, don't they?
Yeah, they listen to older players. Yeah.
Yeah, and like for me, I like listening to like people like Mike Bloody and that because even though they got inspiration from those players, they sort of made it their own, if you know what I mean.
Definitely. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like the thing. Oh, sorry, go on, mate.
Oh, I was going to say as well, and as a guitarist, that's what you should do because it's like the music industry already had a Jimi Hendrix, so they don't really want another one.
I thought you were actually going to go into something else regarding the music industry, which was going to make me laugh, but I'll let you continue. Yeah.
Okay, go on, Charlie.
Sorry, mate. No, sorry, mate. I only paused because I heard someone trying to call me, and I was trying to think of the nicest way to say fuck off, I'm doing something. Yeah, no, dude, I completely agree with your point. I mean, like, you always, I think no matter what, people, especially when they talk about, you know, like great guitar players to go listen to straight away, of course, you always go back and listen, you know, to those kind of what they call maybe like goats, you know, like the people everyone looks up to and it was influenced by. You can't obviously underestimate it. But what I would say is, especially with now, from a technical standpoint as well, for guitar players which are coming out, you know, through and we're discovering through Instagram and YouTube, like really they are, you know, they're light years ahead of what came before. And I feel like there's this consensus that, like, you know, if they don't play sometimes just one note or a couple notes together and maybe they are a bit like, you know, good technically, it's not quite as good. But I mean, I would say take a guy like Tosin Abasti, you know, who's, I would say, you know, obviously he's more in the metal genre, but I mean his music goes much further than that. But like what he's done with combining the shred aspects and then that kind of, I don't know if you've seen it, that kind of thumping technique he uses with his thumb. But like, you know, that in itself, so many guitar players have like taken on board, and you know, it's inspired them, and it's a completely new, different kind of technique. You know, so he's a modern player though, but he doesn't get already. I haven't seen people go on about, you know, oh, he's as inspirational as say someone like Steve Vai, or you know. So I think the point is that I'm trying to get at here basically is that in the coming years, you know, we're going to be more influenced by these kind of current YouTubers and stuff as well. So really, you know, as good as it is to go back and, you know, listen to all these people aren't listening to that at, you know, music colleges. They're listening to modern, you know, kind of musicians on social media. So you know, exactly. So that's where it's kind of at the moment, in my opinion.
Yeah, and especially with how the industry is at the moment, a lot of stuff. It's like if you're just a gigging guitarist, good luck getting a mortgage out and stuff like that because it's just not reliable in that. Unless you're like a session player in America or something like that, but if you're just gigging in a pub every week for a 50 quid gig, that won't like.
No, it won't survive.
So now you need to, you won't survive. And now you just need to, like, sort of, you just need to, after social media, you need to build a fan base on Instagram. You need to get some like good networking going on your Facebook. You need all of that stuff.
I mean, sorry, dude. What I was gonna say is that this is where it's kind of interesting again because, you know, I'm currently in, you know, a kind of band that has kind of got a bit of, you know, within the kind of scene that I'm in, it's kind of got a couple listens and, you know, with, you know, like I think on Spotify something like that, it's about like over nearly 20k kind of total streams or something like that in under a year. So it's done really well regarding that. But the kind of band, you know, I mean, we have to basically gig to do stuff, and some gigs, you know, before we weren't even getting paid money, and it's just a very different scene, you know. So for example, you're more of like a kind of like bluesy guitar player because you can kind of play in pubs and stuff as well. I think you have more kind of accessibility regarding it as well, where with kind of metal gigs and stuff as well, they're, I wouldn't say hard to come by, but you have to find the right scene. Whereas with being in like you said, a bluesy kind of band, any pub will kind of take that kind of music on because it's kind of more accessible, if you know what I mean, as well. So,
Yeah,
but like you said, ultimately
exactly.
it is still not great pay, for sometimes the work you put in.
No,
And that's the big thing
yeah,
in it about being a musician. It's just money. It's just there's not enough of it for being handed
no,
out to
there
younger
isn't.
bands, which is a
Yeah,
shame.
and especially if you're in the originals band as well,
Yeah.
that's a lot harder because if no one knows who you are, why would the pub pay money? To put it bluntly, do you know what I mean?
No, dude, listen, this is the thing. This is why, I mean, I might even still consider, like doing it. But like a while ago, I genuinely had like this kind of realization where I was like, I want to form like a wedding band because I was kind of like, with that, when someone hires you, they know they're going to ask for a certain amount of kind of song. Excuse me, mate. God, playing up tonight. They're going to ask specifically for certain songs to be played, and just because you can play stuff from like pop or kind of old 80s rock, you're going to get kind of booked more because people will know what you're going to play. Whereas in originals band, like you said,
Mm.
if no one knows the kind of music you're playing, even if it's fucking amazing, they're not necessarily going to take the time out to hear that. So
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
so for making money playing live music, and I mean we'll get onto it in a minute as well, but I mean I think you've already had kind of experience doing gigs, not just in the UK but kind of outside, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Actually, quick question on that as well. So for people who don't know, I think Cal told me briefly, but he has played outside of the UK, which is really awesome. What were they original bands that you were playing in, or were they cover bands as well?
No, they weren't originals. They were cover bands.
So straight
They
away,
were cover
yeah.
bands.
So straight away as well, yeah. So that just goes to show as well, like there's kind of, in a way, there's kind of more opportunities as well, playing in cover bands at the moment, maybe necessarily than it is to play in an original band.
Yeah, it is, especially at the moment because it's like. Sorry, let me just rephrase that. Yeah, because what's annoying about cover bands though is just, especially if you're gigging regularly. And just to clarify as well, guys listening to this, me and Charlie are no way saying that we are the perfect cool off guitarists or we make a lot of money from it and that. It's like we're just talking about our perspectives as students, as university students. I'm just saying, just
Yeah, of
thinking of
course.
from our perspectives.
Yeah,
Just to clarify that, right?
yeah. We're just giving our opinions. Like I said, I think we've had decent experience. I think playing in certain live venues and stuff for the time we've been playing.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're still kind of at this point where we want to kind of go further, and take our music and our playing even further. Like I said, like whether it's playing in the bands that does originals that I'm currently doing, or cover bands like Cal's done. Yeah, it's just all our opinions. So it's nothing. Don't take it to heart. We say
yeah.
the music industry is ending. It's
Nah,
not. No.
no, it's not. It may feel like it, especially with all this COVID stuff going around. But we will be back on our feet.
It's just,
But
yeah. I mean, it's just depressing, isn't it? Like that's the main. I mean, like you said,
yeah,
I
but
don't know.
it's depressing.
Well, because from what you've been telling me with like this kind of jam nights and gigs you've attended, it sounds like where you're based, there is kind of like a live scene and a good live scene going on, which is the same for me actually in Brighton. And it's like when you take that away, that's not just something you do necessarily for fun. It's like it's a social thing.
Yeah,
So when you
yeah,
take that away as well, you're losing kind of what you might do on a fucking Saturday night. That's gone now, so you got to find something else to do. And it's been tough for a lot of people.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, as you were mentioning about jam nights and that's basically like a networking place. I usually go there just to see everyone going hi like that every week, have a few drinks. I may got a bit carried away and people who probably know me might say some stories about what I'd done when I was completely pissed.
But don't believe a word they say, yeah?
Yeah. I don't believe it half of the time. But we will talk about a drunken musicianship story in another episode, shall we say?
Yeah, we'll keep those kind of ones, drunk stories, a bit later down the line as well. This is more of just a, kind of introduction into us and our kind of playing. So we're still getting used, obviously. This is, I think this is probably the same for you, mate. This is the first podcast I've ever done. So I'm a bit, so I'm kind of thinking like now and again, I'm like, oh, what do I say now? Oh, yeah. So we're still kind of learning, regardless stuff.
Yeah, we are. But yeah. I quite like a rawness to rawness with a R. I know it sounds like a W. If you laugh at that, go fuck yourselves. But it does that sort of rawness about like podcasters like this after just talking from the top of our heads. Like I got nothing written down at front of me or anything to talk about if we get stuck. We just talk about stuff. And same with Charlie as well.
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Cal was literally called me up and he said, what are you doing at the moment? I said, oh, I'm nearly home. And as soon as I got back, he basically went, right, let's record now. So literally we haven't written down anything. We were just like, we basically just said, we're just going to talk about how we started and all that.
Don't lie.
No, we can't talk. Well, I'm not lying, man. No, seriously. Yeah, so it's just something to get, just something we're kind of getting used to and stuff as well. But I think, it's fun just to kind of say stuff and in a way not have to read off a script and just, talk about what you want.
Exactly. And especially as well, it's like you and me are just being ourselves. We're just talking about our experiences and stuff like that. And it's like, that's what I also like about it. It's just like, we just say whatever comes to our mind, music related.
Exactly. And this is the thing I was kind of, saying at the beginning is that, although we don't know each other, we're kind of getting to know each other through, doing our uni course and stuff as well. Like, what we do know is that we're very different kind of musicians and we like different kind of things. Yeah. And I think musically, we probably like, although I've mentioned quite a lot about metal and stuff as well, like, in terms of other music I like to listen to, that's very different. I like to listen to kind of anything from like kind of 80s pop to like fucking drum and bass and stuff as well, as well as the metal stuff. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like, isn't it, mate? It's like, you will find, I think the majority of musicians, even if they're into like the fucking heaviest kind of metal or fucking, they're into like K-pop, I don't know, like, whatever it is, you'll probably find that like they have such a varied kind of taste in music, especially if they are musicians themselves. So it's very important, I feel like, to have that. If you're closed-minded, that's not a kind of nice thing because otherwise you're not going to enjoy anything else.
No, you won't.
And like I said, even in our, sorry mate, I was just saying in our, in our little group, that we've got in our kind of uni course as well, like everyone that, we met and talked to so far, once again, everyone's into different things and stuff. And it's really cool to actually like listen to the music they're listening to and it's inspiring. You know what I mean? Like instead of just listening to what
it is inspiring.
We normally like. Yeah. Really cool.
And there's stuff like, I remember someone telling me, it's like, he's like a bluesy guitar player and he does like loads of fencing gigs and that as well. And he asked me, it's like, have you ever learned classical music? Or like learned any techniques from classical music? I just went, no, I haven't. And he went, well, I did, and I learned some stuff from it, what you can bring into your blues playing. What he could bring into his blues playing.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
and it's like, especially with like a metal guitarist, you have to play 1,000 notes just to get one person's attention, and I can play one note and get exactly the same response.
Right. Here's the thing I will say. Cal will make this joke. If we make more than 5 podcasts, Cal will make that joke at least 3 times every podcast, without a doubt.
Everyone would fucking know that already. No, I'm just saying though, metal's for people with daddy issues. I'm kidding.
Depends what kind of. To be fair, no, I was going to say it depends what kind of metal you listen to. specifically as well. What
about Iron Maiden? They're metal.
Iron Maiden are metal. Fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, not. They are not fucking metal.
What do you mean?
Iron Maiden are not metal.
Is this a serious thing? What do you mean they're not metal?
Yeah, it's a serious thing. I had debates at this at like my old college about this. Iron Maiden are not metal whatsoever.
What would you call them then?
I would just say hard rock.
But then, I mean, the only reason I would disagree is because I think you've got to think for the time as well. Their sound, I would agree, is not as heavy as, say, Metallica. But I also think that's partly because Metallica focus a lot on specifically like the kind of chugging kind of chord notes and stuff like that as well. Whereas Maiden's always been like a bit more kind of all over the place. Like they don't tend to focus more on that kind of low E string. Their riffs have always been, if anything, they've been quite a progressive band. But I think you can't deny. I mean, oh, sorry, man.
Yeah, saying that, I should have put this as well. Back in their days, like when they were, because they were known in the 70s, it must be heavy metal. But to compare it to like heavy metal now.
Yeah. Oh no, this is the point. This is the point now, isn't it? It's like.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm literally looking up here, seeing what genre it is. It's heavy metal.
Yeah. Well, Maiden. I think started. I'm pretty sure. I mean, they might have started in the 70s, but I think they released their first album in the 80s. I might be wrong in saying that. Their debut, I Maiden. But I mean, yeah. Look, for the time, there wasn't anything like that around, and it was kind of everything. It was like the subject matter as well as kind of the riffs and. But I think if you listen to like Number of the Beast, like that album, inspired specifically so many. Metal bands. A band, do you know what? I will just say this very quickly. A band I would say who was probably more hard rock, if anything, was Judas Priest. Which, although they got really heavy as time went on, in the 70s, they were definitely what I would call more, like, if you listen to them now, you would probably say they're more of a rock band, just because the sound doesn't sound as big. But yeah, it's hard, to be honest, mate. That's always been a thing. I've had discussions with people as well about that, like, defining whether a band's like a hard rock band or more of like a heavy metal band. It's a fucking annoying discussion because you can fucking get in some punch ups over that.
Yeah, you can, but luckily we're online.
Yeah, no, mate, I wouldn't want to fuck with you, mate.
I'm kidding. No, but no, I don't want you to fuck me either, mate.
No, mate.
Nah,
we're not.
Yeah,
we're,
exactly. Sorry.
No, go on, mate. I was going to say something stupid, so it's probably best we move on.
Go on, you might as well say it now.
No, seriously, man, you don't want to hear it.
Okay.
This first, we'll keep it light. This first episode, it will get progressively worse.
Wait till we get to a second episode. Fucking hell.
Oh yeah,
you're offended by what we say in this podcast, guys. Be fucking prepared.
Anything goes in the second one.
Yeah. Anything.
Yeah, sorry, mate. What were you going to say before?
No, I was going to say, sorry. This is just like relating to what you're saying about heavy metal back then and stuff. Van Halen. I wouldn't say a metal band. I would say hard rock band. But Eddie Van Halen just got some techniques in that. What is now resulted into a metal technique. For example, finger tapping, which before he'd done it was a classical technique.
True. I mean, it wasn't. I think you're right. Tapping was used. Was used before Eddie Van Halen. I think it's the way he played it though, specifically was quite unique. Yeah, because you're right. They would use classical players. I think I'm right in saying would use it more like to get those kind of tapped harmonics on the guitar. But yeah, the way he was using it specifically was kind of, it was a way to play arpeggios. Like, obviously, this is the crazy thing, though, isn't there? Like, if you really go back into that time period, like, before Eddie Van Halen, like, there was no tapping, there was no sweep picking. There were very, very, very few players who did that alternate picking thing. I mean, the only guy I can think of is Al Di Meola, who I think if you ask like most of those old players, probably listen to him as well. But yeah, it's from Eddie Van Halen spawned, Randy Rhoads, and then spawned Yngwie Malmsteen, and then everything, all those shred techniques literally came from him, with him starting to do that thing. So yeah, it's crazy how like he literally started. But to your point about Van Halen being hard rock, I would agree. They were definitely more of a hard rock band because they did loads of ballads. Maiden didn't do really that many ballads.
And especially if you listen to like newer stuff, it was more like sort of, I won't say poppy, but more like sort of groovy than like sort of really fast, like upbeat sort of songs.
Yeah.
Like for example, like Hot for Teacher. Like
well, this is the thing. I'll be honest with you. When Eddie Van Halen died, obviously because of what he's done for guitar players in general, it was like a bummer. Like I think it was like, oh fucking, like he's one of the, and he still died, I think relatively young.
he did.
Obviously, like he smoked loads. I mean, I don't know the actual reasons why he died, but you know what I mean. Like I wasn't.
Yeah, throat cancer.
Oh, okay, yes, it might have been linked with that, but you know what I mean. Like I was sad. I was a bit like, oh fuck, that's a bit sad, but I wasn't like absolutely gutted. And it's because although he's done so much for guitar, he wasn't like a direct influence on me. Like I picked up one or two things from him, but like like, he wasn't that kind of guy for me. And with Van Halen as well, it was kind of one of those things where I loved quite a lot of songs from Van Halen, but like the albums, kind of, you'd hear something like on the first album there's a track called I can't remember if it's I'm on Fire or On Fire, but it's the final track on their debut. But that track's like literally like a metal track. But the rest of the album is kind of a mixture of kind of hard rock songs with kind of ballads. And I kind of feel like that theme ran with a lot of their albums. For the record, Van Halen's first album is by far their best record. Such a good album.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of everything else after that had a lot of great songs, but it was that kind of, they'd have that kind of couple ballad kind of songs, which just separated them, I think, from kind of bands like Maiden. The difference between being a hard rock band and kind of a metal band was those kind of ballads, basically. So yeah, it's an annoying thing to define, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is very annoying. And it's like what you said previously, people do get into punch-ups with these sort of conversations about what genres what and stuff like that.
To be fair, mate, I was genuinely joking. I just rage. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's this way. It's my way.
Yeah. I didn't mean physically like punch-ups, but it's like sort of arguments. Like what definitely. You said when you have your rage.
I mean, there's probably more. There's more probably arguments from, like fucking trolls on fucking, like YouTube comments or, like Reddit. I mean, that's probably. I mean, like if those people could probably back up in real life, then that'd be quite entertaining to see. But yeah, I mean, most of the time it is just that. I mean, but yeah, I think like specifically that one, metal and hard rock, that's it really. It's just it's what your interpretation is. Like for me as well.
Exactly.
As well as the music, it's also like lyrical content as well. Van Halen were basically singing about, sex and drugs. Maiden was singing about like demons and fucking witches. So that thing as well, I think, kind of is a little thing that defines it. But oh, dude, like I said, we could be here all night talking about that subject alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could. But yeah, so that's been 40 minutes off our third. Fuck, no, it hasn't gone that fast yet. Our first podcast ever. Have we got anything to say, Charlie?
No, not really, dude. Just other than, it was actually really fun, and I'm looking forward to do more of this.
Yeah, same here, man. Awesome. And we do have a OnlyFans page. If you want to check that out.
Yeah, £50, yeah? Subscription fee.
£50.
For more of this content, behind the scenes podcasts.
Yeah. And you can get to see some pictures of mine and Charlie's beautiful ladies. I got 4 of them.
Have you got
America?
You have?
One in Indonesia. You don't know what I'm referring to, don't you, Charlie?
I have no idea what you're referring to, mate. I sound a bit. Do I
Our
sound silly?
guitars. Our guitars.
Oh my
Our
god.
guitars.
Oh my god. I should have thought of that.
How do you think? You think I've got 4 ladies in my room right now, just like sat behind me?
Oh no, I
Like,
knew you didn't have, I knew you didn't have 4 ladies. As soon as you said Indonesia, though, I did think like, well, a lot of guitars are made in Indonesia now. Oh, one thing you'll learn as well on this podcast,
well, then
Callum is the ultimate jokester.
well, that's very kind of you to say,
That's all right, mate.
Charlie. And Charlie's a funny man as well.
Thank you. I like to finger a lot of notes.
Bet you do.
Right, I think we should probably end it there, mate.
Yeah, peace out before we get really demonetized.
Exactly.
Anyways, guys, thank you very much for listening to our first podcast. If you got any questions or stuff like that, please let us know. If you share any of our stuff on your Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, please let us know and tag us in it. Either tag me or Charlie, tag our Instagrams, what will be in the description. And we will give you a shout out in the next episode, if we remember.
Maybe,
right, guys.
maybe.
But yeah, right, guys. Remember, don't give up music and stay safe. We will be back at the pubs soon, doing gigs and
For sure.
drinking.
For
Right,
sure.
guys.
See you guys. Bye.